Good to know you have rejoined us again on the program. Good morning, Abuja, and it is coming to you from the Unity Station NTA Channel 5. And now I have a guest with me, and we're going to discuss a very interesting topic that will benefit you and I, talking about youth empowerment for economic development. And we have a philanthropist with us in this morning, and also a founder, Sorenit, which stands for Society for Reconciliation of Nigerians in Distress, meaning home and abroad. Help us welcome Sir Benson Uche Okafor to the program. Sir, you're welcome to
Thank
the
you very
program.
much.
Good to see you.
Thank you very much.
You know, when I hear this kind of interesting topic, talking about youth empowerment for economic development, it gladdens my heart because anywhere development is, that is where I want to belong.
That is true.
Now that we are looking at youth empowerment, and that is your area, why did you decide to go into empowering our youth?
Yes, we know that in our country, 70% of able-bodied people are youth. And so it is the youth that develop a country.
Okay.
And my experience has shown me when I was outside the country that we cannot neglect this large number.
Wow.
And I found that a small percentage of them left the country without adequate training.
Okay.
And I felt that when I come back, I'm going to do anything I can to impart this training and repackage them and probably let them go out again and try second time.
Okay.
So that's why, and when they come back, it is a country that will benefit. Right now, the image problem Nigeria has is from this small percentage of Nigerians who did not, who did not train. Right. When somebody goes and says, I need a job, and didn't train for any job, he can do anything to sustain himself. You know, and then the image we're talking about, it affects me and you.
Yes.
When we know that this Nigerian has done this, Nigerians do this.
All of us.
All of us are there.
Yes.
So we try to target on those people. And when I came back here, what we do at our place is we get these youth whom we do not know. We just interview them, train them like the ones we have handled now.
Okay, because that is going to be the next question. How do you source these youth to get them together to empower them?
Yeah, what we do is I have my project manager. He's not here with me now.
Right.
I must credit him.
Okay.
He has a way of sharing out. We go to institutions. We go to churches. We go to individuals that are, they ask them to bring people. And these men that we have trained, who are now our resource people, these men that can produce this shoe, produce this, that, they are working for us now as our staff. And when people are brought in to be trained, they train them. They train them free. The last training we had was with GIZ. And we are having another one in January. GIZ sponsored the people, the trainees, paid for their coming up and down. So
Okay, now that you've gathered these youth and you're training them, the aim is to give back to the society.
Exactly.
And before we came here, you were trying to tell me, because when I saw this big beard, I was admiring it, and I'm like, you told me these are the things they produced in your place, and those are the parts of success stories. Give us some overview of part of some success stories with these youths you're empowering.
Thank you very much. It's not in my character to wear big beats. But I decided to come and show what these youths could do if we're packaged. Now, the one we have 7 departments in our section, and then one of them is hair dressing. We have men and women. We have leather works. Somebody who is doing all these shoes, who could import these shoes. We have a good fashion designer who sews these clothes. We have there are other things that we have put in there. So we people who come in, who are nominated to come, we train them on these areas. That's
so the trainings you are giving, are they free of charge?
They are free. Because yes, we expect the people who nominated them to take care of their empowerment.
All right.
When they finish.
They are free of
like the churches, like the Oba Emir's Palace, like the rich individuals say, we have now finished with their people. We empower them. That's what we did last time. And many of them are going to respond to that.
Now, let's talk about the measurement of this empowerment. When you say you are empowering youth, you're empowering anyone to stand on their own, to be able to give back. How do you measure it in your place? How do you measure it?
I know that each time you train somebody, you have trained 5 others. Because in his family, he's going to, like the man who handles this shoe came in and said, sir, I need a job. I said, what can you do? He said, I know how to do shoes, but I don't have a place to stay. I don't have money to. So I gave him a place to stay. I equipped his office. And today, his father used to ask us for money. Now he takes care of his family. The other man who does this shit, married.
Wow.
He has a wife. He married in December, courtesy of Sorenid.
Wow.
And the man who does hair, he has 3 other shops, and he has plot 3. So we watch, you see how we monitor them, and see that they are benefiting, and that they will also be able to benefit others when we bring. That's the code we have with them.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Going with your success stories and your experience, and you decide to come back to Nigeria to give back to society in your own way. What is the feeling like for you when you see someone you've impacted and that person is being successful? What is the feeling like?
That is the joy of it, to see somebody come. If I had those, I told you I wanted to come with these people so that they can testify.
All right.
They are prepared.
But you can testify for them.
Well, I'm trying to make you look at it for making it up. The joy is that these big men come to thank you, come to greet you, they want to do everything. I said, no. Give thanks to God. Wow. I'm doing it because I'm happy that my friends call me an accomplished retiree.
Wow.
That means when I saw these things, I said, when I come back, I'm going to see that these Nigerians get this training, do this, do that. And now they have gotten this training free. They are paying back. And as I am now, I'm dressing up in the complete what they have made. So I said, I feel accomplished because it's like I've achieved. But we still need assistance because I was doing that. We are doing that as individual, but it's getting big.
Wow.
Beneficial are getting big. Yes, and we want people to support, to care with us, and then let more people benefit.
You know, there's one question I often ask people like you that have the heart to give, the heart to make others better. Now, what do you think should be the core principles of, giving back to the society?
Yeah, I have often spoken with my friend, told them there's joy in doing this thing.
Okay.
I've always reminded them of the last. We're all aging now.
Okay.
I served 35 years in the civil service.
Wow.
And we are still pretending to be strong, but I know that it's catching up.
You are strong, but it's
so I now ask them, what will be the effect? Like the place I'm using now is my facility. I have to use it to do this now I want to do. Because I know my children have all grown up, and if I use that place to help so many people, it will give me joy.
Yeah.
Anywhere I am, that this is what. But my street is also named after me. Wow. I'm talking about what do you call it? When what you get after your service.
Yes.
So I think I'm an accomplished retiree.
Yes, you feel accomplished.
I feel accomplished.
You feel you are happy because when you see these people happy, it gives you
joy, more than joy.
Now the advice now is how will you now appeal to the conscience of others? Some persons will tell you, I have a heart to give, but I don't have. But it is not when you have that you'll be able to give from the heart. It starts from the heart and from the little that you have.
Yes.
How do we give with these little resources?
That's what we don't seem to have that. Nigeria is very acquisitive.
Yes.
People acquire and acquire. But we wish that you ask yourself, what do you do with all these things you acquire at the end? If you have that end point in view, where am I going with all these things? You find that you need to share them. Many people who have left don't even know how much money they have left in the bank. They don't know what they're. So it has to come from your heart.
Yes.
People will be criticizing you. What are you doing? You should be making money with you. I say, money for who? Money for what? These people that are getting from this is part of it. You need to come to our place and see what I'm talking about.
Before we came here, we were trying to talk behind the camera that apart from youth, you empower a lot of people. What are those areas and which other people do you empower apart from the youth?
We have women.
Okay.
We have widows.
Okay.
We have gender-based violence people.
Okay.
We have elderly people.
Wow.
Senior citizens.
Okay.
We have we don't
senior citizens, their own is
if you come and see them playing draft, playing game, taking bantering and all these things, you will love to behold.
You will love to
I'm telling you, because there's no point going to a corner. You will feel
come and meet
your friends.
With your friends.
And then there are the women gender bay who fighting in the family started during the COVID when people did not have places to go to. So we make sure that women and men have some skills.
Okay.
And if you are doing your own and I'm doing my own, I don't think we have a point of conflict.
Yes.
So a heart that is not busy finds job for devil.
Yes.
So we create...
An idle man is a devil's workshop.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, this youth that we are focusing on this morning, how do you think, what do you think should be the place of the role of a mentor in their lives? Yes,
we also worry about that. We want Nigeria to take it up at a very large, we want this solid model to be translated into all the local governments.
Okay.
Because now that local governments have the means of sustaining themselves, if you have a skill village in all the, I think you understand, where these youths who are laughing about are doing something, that will help the government. Yes. That will help reduce the crime rate and so on and so forth.
Okay. All right. Now, I want you to quickly take, what are the little challenges you see? And they say it's challenges that makes you better. What do you think are some of the little challenges?
Yeah, we have quite enough challenges. We've been using our resources.
Okay.
As a retiree, whenever they pay that monthly something, you find us paying salaries, paying this, paying that. You find us repairing. Even the NEPA, we find us paying a lot of things. But when I ask myself, why did they say you chose it? So it's not complaining anybody. It's my calling. So once in a while, people chip in.
Okay.
And we are very grateful. Okay. But we wish it can be taken to government level, taken to other individuals. People have a lot of money, but they don't have that heart to come and do this thing like that.
That is now going to be your final words and your words of advice before I let you go. What do you think other people should do to join your train of what you're doing so that we can better the lives of other people and putting back a smile on faces of people?
Yeah, we are asked to be each other's keepers.
Yes.
That is what we are told by the Holy Books.
Yes.
But we don't practice what we read. But if people, like one of my colleagues, have big houses and they live there alone, I say convert these houses to training facilities. I don't understand. Use what you have to get what you need so that the society will be safer. You cannot live in a society where a lot of people are poor and you think you are safe.
You are the only richest.
So I tell them to consider that security is everybody's business. Okay. If our neighbors are not very satisfied with us, you'll be afraid every time.
Yes.
So I'm urging them to join so that our society can be better. And then the government should also take it seriously by electing those who are into this thing to do what they know best.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for your time with us this morning. We do really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Talking about how you are empowering youth, you're empowering women, and you're giving back to the society with your wealth of experience and what you've gone out to see. You desire it to happen to us here in our own country. Nigeria is the only country we have, and we cannot let it down.
At all.
We have to contribute.
We have to build it.
Build it, contribute our quota.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir. Benson Uche Okafor, who is a philanthropist and also founder Sorelid, which stands for Society for Reconciliation of Nigerians in Distress, meaning home and abroad. We thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much.
The program is Good Morning Abuja. Let's go on this quick break. We'll be right back. Stay with us, please. Good to know you have rejoined us again on the program Good Morning Abuja, and it is showing only on the Unity Station 98 Channel 5. Now, we all know that festive period is characterized with a lot of spending, but that doesn't mean you should break the bank to attend to people's needs. This morning, we want to be looking at a topic that says planning and budgeting for the festive period. Now, I have a counselor with me in person of Pastor Tosin Ajolere to talk to us and to advise us on how to spend our money wisely, especially this season. Let's welcome him. Hello, sir. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me here.
It's good to see you.
Good to be here too.
Yes, it's not news again that during festive period, there's a lot of celebrations here and there, weddings. Some persons will even put their burial so that,
during the festive period.
During the festive period, and it's characterized with a lot of spending. Now, how will you want to advise us to spend wisely? Let's start from there.
Well, the first thing I like to say, I want to come from an angle in my office. Okay. There's a verse in Ecclesiastes chapter 7 that says, when things are good, it says throw a party.
Yes.
But when things are bad, it says consider. In other words, you don't spend money like you have money when you don't have money. Okay, all of us are aware of, the economic situation all around the world, not only in Nigeria, it's all over. So it's important that people be wise with their spending. It's important that people be circumspect. They know what needs to be spent money on. There's a difference between a want
and a need.
And so wise people actually, first of all, prioritize their needs. They go after their needs. And once you have satisfied the needs, if you feel you want to go ahead, well, you can do your wants.
And people will always be around you to enjoy themselves.
People will. So now you also want to be wise. You want to ask yourself about the people around you. What value are they adding to you? Because everything you do right now has to be value-based. You don't just, whatever you do actually has to be value-based.
Wow, interesting response there. Okay, now you talked about needs and wants. I want you to practically itemize how we can prioritize the needs and wants.
Okay, well, so of course, I mean, if we're now going to, maybe we should talk just a little about Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Okay.
Of course, one of the first things is you need food, you need shelter. And those are the basic things actually that are needed by the rich and the poor.
Everyone.
Okay, yes. So, you want to know, you actually want to know when you have met the needs. So, okay, so what are the needs for this Christmas period, for instance? Everybody needs food. I shouldn't say everybody needs clothing. Back in the day, whenever it was festive period, I mean, everybody wants to buy something.
And now you'll be here to tell the younger ones that it's not compulsory, so you have to.
Well, so that's why I started with Ecclesiastes chapter 7.
Right.
So we have to be wise, because it is what the situation, demands or defines. If you decide to defy the situation, except you are really, really sure that you have some backup somewhere. But if you don't, you want to look at, of course, obviously, we want to assume everybody has shelter. So you want to look at your shelter. You want to look at food. Now, in the area of food, I will also refer to something. I will also refer to something that Solomon said in Proverbs. He says that, in Ecclesiastes, he said, "Woe to the city whose kings just eat for gluttony and not for strength." The truth is that food is actually for strength. It's not for gluttony. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, so you want to ask yourself, after I've finished eating this, do I need more? Now, I came to a point many, many years ago where I stopped getting to the point where I say to myself, don't chop belly food. Once I feel I'm all right, I stop. As a matter of fact, in my house, my children know one thing. Nobody scrapes anything into the dustbin. You dish what you can eat and finish it. So if we approach life from this perspective, to adjust on a couple of things will not be difficult. Again, now you now come to the issue of drinks, soft drinks, carbonated drinks, wines, and all of that. Of all the drinks in the world, everybody knows that what you need most is water.
Water.
So it's important to actually prioritize all of this. Then when we even also come to clothing, what is the essence of clothing? It's to cover your nakedness. So if you can cover your nakedness, if all you need to cover your nakedness, for instance, let's just assume all you need to cover your nakedness is 50,000 naira. You can also cover that nakedness that you use 50,000 naira to cover. You can use 5 million naira to cover it.
Sure.
As far as I'm concerned, 5 million less 50,000, that's a waste. Oh yeah, because if we're actually looking at needs and wants, so it's important for everyone to be able to set their minds aright.
Yes.
And they're not, if anybody had developed, over time, a sense of entitlement, it's important. This is the time to actually begin to drop those and begin to look at what are the things that are actually necessary.
It is good we talked about all of this because it takes discipline to be able to limit what you are spending, especially this festive period. This is period people travel to go meet loved ones and a lot of celebrations, like I said, and you are advising us. Now, how can we avoid overspending? There is what they call miscellaneous expenses. To me, I pay much attention to that. It has to come first on my list because there are some impromptu decisions you take. Now, how do you avoid overspending?
Okay, so how do we avoid overspending? You started from there. And you started from there by talking about budgeting. So I think it's basically budgeting. Okay, so I made up my mind, this is also amount I'm going to spend on food. I'm going to spend this on transportation. I'm going to spend this on guests. That's if I decide to have guests.
That's if you decide to have one.
That's if I decide not to fast during the Christmas period.
Be nice.
Right. And also for those who are going to travel, if you're going to drive, for instance, obviously, you are going to have to fuel your car. If you're not driving, if you're going by public transport.
But for some, there's a routine, let's say every December. Must you travel?
So that's a question. You must not. Because you see, the question I ask people is this. These things that you do, how much value do they add to you?
Because people you're going to meet, at times they appreciate when you send them an envelope.
You can send them an envelope.
Okay.
Except if you are still fortunate to have your parents alive. Your parents will actually, will actually prefer to have you physically.
Yeah.
They will prefer to have you physically. And the envelope.
And very important.
But when it's not feasible, you don't kill yourself over what you cannot do. What you cannot change. Yeah, so that's my take on it.
Okay. And now, very interesting there. But at times, while growing up, talking about new dresses, it is important, probably because that was how our parents brought us up. Now, this is our age. We are faced with a lot of difficulties now. How are you going to preach that message to your children and to probably some people around that it is not necessary? You have a good one. Clean it up and wear.
Well, interesting question.
Yes.
Interesting question, and I'm going to bring you an interesting perspective. Right. And the perspective that I'm going to bring you is that when I was growing actually, we didn't place, for me, my own family, not because we didn't have the money, we just kind of didn't place much emphasis on new clothes.
You're going to respond that, but let's quickly go on this way because from that, your interesting response we want to hear. Right. Okay, the program is Good Morning Abuja, and we are talking about planning and budgeting for this festive period. Let's go on this quick break. We'll be right back. Good to have you join us again on the program Good Morning Abuja, and we are here talking about how we can plan and budget well, especially for this festive period. Yes, before we went on that break, you were trying to give us a story around how you can convince your children or youth generally.
So I want to say that basically there's a whole lot that lies on the shoulders of parents. You need to you need to first of all understand as a person, because what you don't have, you cannot give. So you need to understand the difference between wants and needs. Like I said before now, Paul said something in Corinthians. He said, all things are lawful, but not all things are expedient. So it's still on this issue of, want and needs. When I was growing up, we didn't place much emphasis on parties, much emphasis on new dresses for Christmas. Of course, we had once in a while and all of that. And it was not a function of whether we had money or not. It was just, I guess that was just the way my parents decided to raise us. And that's the same thing I've ingrained into my children. Okay. So I say to people usually that I meet that Jesus said something. He said the life of a man does not consist in the abundance of things that he possesses. Your life, the value of what you have is what you are inside. So you can live in a house of 500 million naira. Maybe I'm praying for you now.
Oh, amen. I received that. Oh.
But it's not the house that makes you.
That makes
it is you that makes the house.
Obviously, yes.
Do you get the point? You can see somebody wear something that is worth 2 million naira, and the person looks like a vulture inside it.
Sure.
And somebody else wears something that is not more than maybe 70,000, and he or she looks like a prince or a princess. Do you get? So it's important to teach our children about value. It's important for parents also to let their children have an idea of how they make money as parents, so that they can now begin to place value on things. And it's also important to let children know how to get things started. Let me quickly tell a story. When my first daughter was going to school, when she was going to the secondary school, I remember taking her to Garki supermarket. And I said to her many years ago, this is about 13, 14 years ago, I said to her, I told her, this is the amount we're going to spend. So we went together, just me and her, and she saw a couple of things, picked them up. And I kind of had an idea that she had, overshot the budget, but I didn't say anything. So we got to the till. And the lady at the till, when she finished calculating, she said, this is the amount. So my daughter looked at me and I said, I told you, you have to drop one or two things.
Some items.
One or two of my friends, we grew up together. Incidentally, they are like juniors to me. Incidentally, we met at the till that day. So they looked at me and said, bro, we'll fix this for your daughter. I said, no.
Discipline. Yes,
I told my daughter, this is what she's going to do.
Yes.
So when parents, no matter how rich you are, you need to let your children understand boundaries. And once they can understand boundaries, it's easy for them to wade through life.
And now the question here again is, what if we involve our children from the planning stage?
Yes,
to let them know that this is what is available and this is what is on ground.
Beautiful.
If you overshoot your boundary, you have to readjust the whole system. And this is now bringing me to this season, it's characterized with a lot of people give gifts because our minds and orientation has been focused on that. Can you say it's another period for us to save money as well?
Well, it's a period to save money, but you may not be able to take the issue of giving gifts away because the first gift we had is the fact that God gave us the gift of His Son.
The gift of His Son.
And as God has done, we should do likewise. But like I also said, we must look at the value of the things we are giving. Now, and value is not always in monetary terms. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I give you a gift. Sometimes it's not the monetary value, it's actually the intrinsic value.
Well, when you say monetary value, I remember one story. I don't know whether it happens to you in your place. When you travel home in the communities, in the villages, during, let's say, Christmas Day, children come around. When you tend to give them food, they say, no, it is money they want.
That's interestingly, that's the orientation.
Yeah.
And you see, everyone needs to have a change of orientation, actually. And I think, again, this is one of the differences, again, sorry to say, between people who grew up in this part of the world and people who grew up, in other parts of the world. Because early in life, children begin to learn to work.
Yes.
They have holiday jobs where they make little money. And when children make money on time, people who make money on time tend to value money.
Money, yes.
And that's why I say to people around me who are well-to-do, yes, you're well-to-do, you're being blessed, but you need to let your children learn how to live, how to spend money, how to make money. So even if they have not started making money yet, you could, like you said, bring them into the planning. This is how much we have. Okay. What do you guys think?
Okay. And again, another question is this period, because of our orientation, like you said, we all know that this period, a lot of visitation takes place and you have to prepare for your visitors that are coming. And, before you have in your mind that, well, anybody that comes visiting today will have to be satisfied. Going with the present situation and what we are going through, how do you advise us to what I can do? But you'll be feeling ordinary water.
Honestly, the first thing I was going to say is that I'll first of all give you water.
If you will not take water.
If you will not take water, then that means you don't want to take. I'll give you water. Then I'll get maybe some small chops, or something. In fact, again, I was also going to say that I think it's important in this season, anybody who's providing anything for anyone whatever you're providing should be things that you made at home as much as possible, because you want to cut costs as much as possible. You don't want to. I mean, so Christmas is over. We're in January. Children have to go back to school. Even if you don't have children that are going back to school, you have to continue living.
You have to continue living.
So are you now going to be living on what you gave people yesterday? So it's important actually to it's important actually to plan well.
Because some persons want to create a memorable, I don't know how to put it, but a memorable enjoyment space that when you go, oh, when I visited my friends, this was what happened. There's no need for that
really
now. Way forward in our budgeting and planning, as we are already in the festive period.
Sure. Yeah.
What do we do not to overstep our boundaries and make everyone happy?
Yeah. I think we should also understand that. Okay, so for instance, you're coming to visit me. We all live in Nigeria. So you should now, first of all, think, okay, so if this man comes to visit me, what can I provide? So if when you come to visit that person, the person also is providing for you the best that you could provide, then you know that you don't have any reasons to feel bad that he couldn't do for you more than he did. Because if he had come to you, you also wouldn't have been able to do more than you did. So the sense of over expectation should first of all be caught by everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to deal with that. And we need to be considerate.
Yes.
Each person needs to be considerate, and so I should be able to understand that, okay, this is the best that this person can afford.
Yes, and again, from expectation from the poor,
yes.
looking up to
the high, looking to the high,
to give.
Then you also said something about the village. I mean, so this is where it's important for people to think now. So you get to the village, for instance, and let's look at 20 people.
Okay.
You were able to give 20 people, let's just assume you were able to give 20 people 5,000 naira. Let's just assume. So 20 times 5, that looks like 100, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you see, the way poor and people who have a sense of entitlement, who are also poor, the way they think, and I'm not talking down on anybody, is this: they do not consider the fact that you had given 20 people 5,000 naira each. So what they are looking at is, so now only 5,000 she should give me.
Only 5,000.
You understand? But they are not considering the fact that the same way you gave them is the same way you give other persons.
Okay. Final word before I let you go.
So I think it's important for all of us to do a reorientation for ourselves, in this season. And once we do that, we'll be able to enjoy whatever we have. If it's a bottle of water you're able to give me, or water from your dispenser, or even water from you. Remember that thing?
Yes, that's
the best one.
That's the best one.
Go there, carry the cup and sit down, drink the water, and say, God bless you.
Thank you so much for your time with us on our show this morning. It's highly interesting to know that we have to have what we call reorientation. Anything you're giving out, you should place value on it. And again, we should consider ourselves. We are going through, a wonderful time this period.
Wonderful time.
And we have to make a memorable season as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for your time with us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, Pastor Tosin Ajolere, counselor, and also a lead pastor, House of David in Abuja. We do really appreciate your time.
It's been a pleasure being here. Thank you so much.
All right, the program is Good Morning Abuja. Let's quickly go on this quick break. We'll be right back. Stay with us, please.